fantasy football season. And if you made it to your championship, congratulations. And here's a few sleeper options for you at the running back position. So right now, at time of recording this video, none of these players have been placed on the safety or protocol list. The first guy, Derrick Gore of the Kansas City Chiefs. So in my opinion, Derrick Gore, he's the best in between the tackle runner on this Chief roster. And we've seen it this season here with an expanded role at times. Week 8 versus the New York Giants on that Monday Night Football game, 11 carries, 48 yards, and a touchdown. Week 14 versus the Vegas Raiders, 9 carries, 66 yards, a touchdown, 2 catches, 23 yards. And then last week, after Clyde Edwards-Helaire went down in that ball game, and the game got out of hand with the Chiefs running amok with a huge lead. 12 carries, 43 yards, and he even added 3 catches, 61 yards. So Edwards-Helaire, he hasn't practiced so far this week here, and I think he's going to be out in this ball game. And in my opinion, Darrell Williams and Gore are better than him. So Williams and Gore in this ball game are going to split in this one at Cincinnati, which is a pretty good matchup. They give up the 14th most fantasy points to running backs on the season. And right here is a flex option or even a number 2 running back. I have confidence in Gore as long as Edwards-Helaire is out, which he most likely will be. Like I mentioned, he's available in 95% of fantasy leagues, and I think he could get 50 or 60 total yards in this one and find the end zone. The next running back's Boston Scott of the Philadelphia Eagles. So Boston Scott, we've seen some flashes from him this season as well, just like Gore, where he's got expanded roles and more carries. He's put up fantasy points here. Week 10 at Denver for Boston Scott in that one. 11 carries, 81 yards, 2 catches, 24 yards. And week 12 at the Giants, 15 carries, 64 yards, touchdown, 2 catches, 8 yards, a fumble loss. And then last week here, 12 carries, 41 yards, and a touchdown in week 16 versus the Giants. So right here, Miles Sanders already ruled out with the broken hand. And a good matchup on paper at the Washington football team that we just saw last week. Zeke Elliott and Tony Pollard have great games versus them. So I think Scott here, him and Jordan Howard, if Howard's even going to play in this one, are going to get the first and second down work with Gainwell mixed in on third down and passing down work. But right here, Boston Scott, we know he could get the job done. I think he fits the scheme a little bit better than Sanders with Jalen Hurts with that read play option as quarterback as well. But Scott this week available in 72% of fantasy leagues. And I could see him have a solid ball game at Washington this week, especially with Sanders already out of the game. And the third and final running back I have as a sleeper option this week's Keyshawn Vaughn of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So right here, Leonard Fournette, he went on the injured reserve list a few weeks ago here with a hammy injury, and he's not coming back. And last week, Keyshawn Vaughn, he had a nice 55-yard run for a touchdown. So in that one in week 16 in Carolina, 7 carries, 70 yards, and he found pay dirt. So right here, an amazing matchup for him at the New York Jets. I know Ronald Jones, he's going to be the starter, obviously, and have a good game. A recommended start as well this week. So if you didn't see running backs to start this week, I would recommend you to see that. It's all on the channel, just like everything else has been all season here, every week, putting in time and videos. But anyway, here, Keyshawn Vaughn, he's available right now in 97% of fantasy leagues. I know they signed Le'Veon Bell as well, but Bell didn't really get any work in that ball game. And Vaughn's a nice change of pace back here, in my opinion, for this Tampa Bay Buc team. But the last couple seasons, since he's been in the league, he really hasn't gotten a chance with obviously Leonard Fournette, Ronald Jones, and even Gio Bernard before he went down with his injury this season. So Vaughn here, as a desperation play in very deep leagues, I think he's a decent sleeper. So that's a few running backs I have as sleepers here for Week 17 of the fantasy football season.